Good morning, everybody. Before I introduce you, please put your safety belt on. My name is Ingrid. I think most of you saw me already in the restaurant, but you didn't see the driver yet. His name is Jak, and he's going to be all day with us with the black bus, and the bus is from the company Brouwer, so you can recognize it.
Hey guys.
So when you get off the bus, look at the face of Jak, so you can recognize the bus and the driver. That means if you want to leave some things in the bus that you don't need, you can always leave it in the bus until the end of the trip. Happy to. And what is the plan today? Now, first we drive now in about half an hour to the village of Edam, from the cheese, Edam cheese. And we're gonna do a city walk there. A short walk, half an hour or like 45 minutes. Very nice and easy, lots of times for pictures. And it's a very cute village with wooden houses, very old style. A Dutch typical village from the north of Holland. After that, you probably need a bathroom, so we're going to a cheese farm where you can use the bathroom, and they're going to give us a demonstration how they make cheese, and after that the best part, the cheese tasting. And then we're going to the fisherman's village of Volendam, where you have free time for shopping and lunch. And after that we go to the Zaanse or the windmill park, and then we leave there 4 o'clock, so we will be back in Amsterdam if the traffic is okay, like 4:30.
That's what I'm waiting for.
But the name of our country is not Holland, it's the Netherlands. The Netherlands means the lowlands, because we are the delta of the Rhine River. 40% of our country is below sea level, and we are now in the part below sea level. Our country has 12 provinces, or maybe in your country they call them states or regions, but 12 provinces. Only 2 of the provinces we call Holland. We are now in North Holland, that's Amsterdam and everything above Amsterdam, but we also got the province of South Holland, and that is south of Amsterdam until Rotterdam, that we call North and South Holland, but the country is the Netherlands. Para empezar, el nombre de nuestro país no es Holanda, sino los Países Bajos. ¿Y por qué este nombre? Porque somos el delta del río Rin. It's very little, and we cannot plant anything normal here. If you want to plant sugar beets or potatoes or corn, the roots need more soil. You cannot plant it will not grow here because the groundwater level is too high. And the only thing that can grow here is what you see, it's grass. And if you have so much grass, what do you do with all this grass? Now, you can put cattle on it, you can put sheep and cows on it. Now, we prefer the cows because they give lots of milk. We have mostly the cows here that give the milk. And the cow you see most is the black and white one, the Holstein Friesland. And what do we do with all this milk? The milk you cannot keep good for a long time. So we change the milk into cheese, and that's why we produce so much cheese. In this 40% of the Netherlands below sea level, we have only meadows with grassland, and there we have the cows, and there we produce the cheese. That's why we have so much cheese. Entonces, para ustedes, the farmers went with their boats to the cheese market of Gouda to sell their cheese. So Gouda cheese is the cheese that used to be sold in the cheese market of Gouda, but now also here they produce Gouda cheese, because now it's the prosody that's called Gouda cheese.
And we just dropped at, I think this is 80 cents. And she's asking us to take photos in this houses here. She said rich people live here. because these like rich people live here. They have a very good front yard. You got a waterway here. Hey guys, so that's a bridge. Yeah, this is a beautiful town.
Cuida. Please stay on the left or the right. Por favor, este lado al este porque por el medio vienen las bicicletas. Las techas son muy así, porque tenemos mucho lluvia. Casi no nieva, pero muchísimo lluvia.
Got a lot of church, you know. We're in this outskirts, down in the outskirts, and this is how Hollandish or a Dutch town looks like. So that's a church. And this is like houses here, brick houses. So we're in an alley. We're just walking through this town. So this is a typical Dutch house in the outskirts of Netherlands. Those are brick houses. I hope we're not making the neighbors racist. Wonder how the inside of the house looks like. Typical Dutch house. You can peek through the windows.
See the angel on top?
Oh yeah. Nice. See this mentioned angel on top of the house. This is the historical. Look at this. This is the historical house.
Ya están aquí, que hablan español. Correcto. Este es el mercado de queso anterior. Los campesinos han venido con sus barcos por este canal y estos hombres han traído el queso tipo Edam. To really do it. And then they spread out the cheese over here, over blankets in the cheese market, and people were trying the cheese, and if they liked it, I'm talking the wholesalers, not individual people. The wholesalers came here to buy the cheese for in their stores. And if they liked it, they put the cheese over in there. This was the weight where they had the scales. And they weighed the cheese, they paid for it, and then they transported them to the different shops where they sold the cheese. And this is the process now going by internet. And we were talking about, in Spanish, about that house. Little children. And they asked me how old were the children. Now, the children... Ano significa del año.
Okay, that's an old house. It's 1602. Wow. 17th century. And this was before French, it's just too small. posters about history or something like that. Okay. So our guide is telling us that that house behind me is house for the aged, or a retirement village, retirement house. And that one is for the
Nota que la iglesia es grandísimo en comparación de este pueblo, ¿eh? Y esto era porque ganan mucho dinero aquí con los astilleros para construir los barcos para el puerto de Amsterdam.
Alright, so that's the town of Edam here in the Netherlands. Yeah, they have a good town here. They also have canals, and people have boats, and they have beautiful houses, and a church. There's water just about everywhere. I learned a lot of stuff from a tour guide.